It's starting to get dark for my first harvest, but I wanted to make sure I get it in because I want to eat tonight. This is the red onion video I did where growing it from your homegrown groceries. And you can go ahead and check the video in the subscription. But I noticed that these little bulbs have been appearing, which means it's getting ready to go to flowering. And I really do want to stop that because the onion has not started to push up from the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut it and stop it from over gardening. I mean, from going to seed. And that's not all. What I'm really trying to do is get some onion for tonight dinner. With red onions, you don't really want to clip it too much. That was already bent. So I'm actually cutting in the bins and placing them in this little container I have down here at the bottom. Because what I really wanted to harvest today is some onion and also some celery. So let me get the onion. It's kind of overgrown. Oh, that looks pretty good. Let me go ahead and take another clip from there. But one of the other things that I want to use to kind of flavor my food is celery. Celery is a great flavorant. And so what I do is cut the outer leaves. Whenever you're cutting off from the plant, it has to struggle to feed the plant. So it actually helps it grow. So I'm not going to only take off a couple of leaves, but I'm also going to take off some of the small suckers. And suckers are just the plants that are taking up space on the plant where they could be fed more. They're not getting the nutrients that they need to grow further. And my biggest problem, not really a problem, but my concern is that this little plant, I want it to grow bushy, and it's already started to grow peppers. Can you see that little pepper down there? And there's one here. So I'm thinking in order to give the plant strength that I'm going to have to remove at least one pepper. And then, trim off the leaves. I think I'll go ahead. But this is so big, I'm kind of like, oh, I want to take it off, but it'll help the plant to be more fruitful. So I'm going to go ahead and take off this one instead of this one, because it's higher up. It's not going to touch the dirt as much as it grows. And then, of course, we have this one that's growing in between. So there are some sacrifices in gardening. You just have to use your best intuition when gardening. It's not all science. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and cut the bottom one off. I'm going to try to get it lower so that you can see. Oh, I'm crying. But I'm not eating it today, so I'll go ahead and I'm not eating it today, so I'll go ahead and cut it off. But look, it was on its way. Maybe I can still use it. I'll try. I'll go ahead and use it. And one thing about the smaller plants are that they are so much more nutrient dense, and they also, when removed on the lower limbs, it will allow the plant to grow better. And I wanted this to grow more as a bush versus being tall. So I'm trying to look through and see where I can eliminate some of the sucker leaves so that all the energy is not going to wasted places, but allowing it to go to the fruit. So I'm only cutting off one of the fruits. I'm not going to cut off any more of the fruits. But I am going to take off some of the leaves that don't really matter because there's no fruit growing on them. And we need the leaves for photosynthesis. So I'm keeping as many leaves and going from the bottom up so that the plant still has the strength it needs to be strong and produce the fruit that I am hoping for. So you want to clip your plant. It seems like the more you clip the plant, the stronger it grows. And it is getting a little bit dark. I like to do my clipping either early in the morning or late at night. So the other green pepper plant, which is this one, I'm going to go ahead and clip off what we consider suckers, which are plants that are not really producing fruit, but are just sucking energy from the plant. You know, just like people. Sometimes you can meet people who just will suck your energy all the way out and don't give anything but negative input instead. And so, just like with plants, when you have negative people, you want to kind of clip them out of your life. I know it sounds harsh, and I feel kind of ashamed to say it because they may need your help to be better. But depending on your strength level and what you're able to tolerate, you can make that decision for yourself. But you just have to be conscious and knowledgeable of what you're able to tolerate and what needs to be let go. And it's the same way with plants. And so that's why I'm cutting off some of these plants legs. I really want to take this off, but I want to let it grow long enough where I can put it in water and grow another plant. So now that I have that off, I have my celery, and I want to show you my tomato plants that I really need to stake those. So what I'm going to do is to grab a stake and some string, assist it with being a little bit larger so that our spring garden can continue in full strength. So what I'm going to do is just stick this little stake down. I got this at the Dollar Tree. They call them skewers, but for me, they're not skewers. They are stakes to assist my plant with being sturdier and growing up straight. Eventually, I may, just for the sake of growing vegetables, cut it off so you can see how you can actually grow another plant from the plant that you have and still allow it to produce fruit. So once you get a tomato plant, actually, if it's a variety that you like, you don't have to keep buying additional plants. You can use this plant and cut off the tops, and then you'll be able to use it to grow additional plants. So you see these flowers? These flowers mean that those have possibility of turning into tomatoes. As these that are a little bit lower, so you can actually grow off tomato plants. So I'm going to go ahead and trim this one up as well so that it has the best possible chance of thriving by cutting off the suckers. And you want to make your cuts depending on how you want your plant to grow. Right now it looks like I'm cutting it to grow straight up, but I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I might change that. So all the lower leaves, which I consider suckers, they don't have any flowers on them, like we saw on this side or the little yellow flowers, because I do have pollinators that come and pollinate the flowers. I was hoping to cut this part off, but there's too many pollinated flowers. I'm going to go ahead and take another piece off there. We want to leave plenty of the leaves just so that it gets enough photosynthesis to grow. So I'm done with that plant. And I do have another tomato. Changing my camera. I'm a one-man camera crew. So I'm going to just cut off some of these lower limbs. They don't have any flowers on them, so they're just basically sucking the energy from the plant and the flowers that could grow to make the fruit. And now that the sun has fully gone out, I think it's a good time just to cut the video. However, I do want to show you some of the things that I planted.